If you want to know the quickest way to get longer off the tee or to get better at your overall ball striking, there is no substitute for repetition. When you learn some new swing secrets and a new way to move your body, you need to put in the repetition. Now, there are drills that you can do for the weight shift, for the turn, and for the forward swing, and all those drills are great, but nothing can compare to simply hitting ball after ball after ball with a perfect swing. That's going to incorporate everything into your muscle memory. It's going to build your confidence, and it's going to help you when you get out on the course. You're going to know, I've literally hit thousands of balls doing this swing, so I'm just going to do the same thing that I've been doing in my practice time. But the biggest challenge for most of you is, how are you going to get in those repetitions? Are you going to go to the driving range at $10 to $15 a bucket of balls? Plus you got to find time in your schedule to get in your car, load up your bag, and drive to the driving range. It takes a while to do all that, and it's going to take a big chunk out of your weekly schedule. So I suggest the best thing that you can do for yourself is to set up a backyard or an in the garage or an in the spare room practice area like I've done here. Now, when I originally bought this setup with my net and with my mat, I originally had this upstairs in my bonus room. And it worked good for a while, but the problem is the ceiling was only 9 feet high. This is designed to be 10 feet high, so I had to cut the poles down to 9 feet. And I noticed that with my longer clubs, it was causing me to swing a lot flatter than I wanted to in order to keep from hitting the ceiling with my follow through. So then I eventually moved it out into my backyard. Now, once I moved out in the backyard, I decided I didn't need it to be 10 feet deep. So what I did is I cut the poles to 5 feet, and I just doubled the sides of the nets back around itself, okay? I want to caution you when you go out and buy a net. It's very important that you get a high quality net. Now, everything I'm talking about here today, the net, my mat, if you look down in the description, there's links to where you can buy exactly what I have here. But I want to caution you on the net. It's very important you get a high quality net. I live in Florida. This net right here has been out in the Florida sun for about 7 years now, and it hasn't degraded at all. I put the money into a high quality net. I used to buy those pop-up nets, and I went through quite a few of those. They're flimsy and they don't hold up, and when you start really smashing your drives, you'll actually go right through those other nets. This net here has what's called an archery net that is hanging in the back of the net. It's about a foot from the back. And that archery net, you're not going to put a golf ball through. It will actually stop practice arrows from a bow and arrow, okay? So you need to think about that when you're buying a net. Again, don't buy a cheap net that's going to degrade from the sun and the weather that it's exposed to. I've got this as a permanent setup here. I don't have to come and unfold the net every time I want to practice, okay? So make sure you invest in a great net. And again, down in the description, I got a link to this net right here, which I highly recommend. The next thing that you want to make sure you put some good money into is the mat. You want a good mat that's very dense and very thick. The reason being, if you just go to Home Depot and bought some of that grass carpet that they sell, you're not going to have any cushion to that, and you're going to end up developing a swing to where you're just barely picking the ball to keep yourself from coming down on it and hurting your wrist. So you want to get a real thick, high quality mat. This mat here, you can actually put a tee in it and it will hold the tee up and you can hit off tees. Now what I've done for mine is I went ahead and bought some of those driving range type rubber tees. I've also got a link for that down in my description. I've cut a hole in the mat and put that tee in there. Reason I did that is because when I would just use a regular tee and tee it up, every time I hit a ball, I'd have to go find the tee and it'd go deep into the net or get stuck up in it or whatever. And that was just a hassle. My whole goal was to be able to come out, hone the swing, swing after swing after swing, not chasing after golf tees. So I recommend that you do that as well. here's a thought to really put in your mind. Okay, you're going to look at the price of the cage here, and I'm not going to quote the price here because it may change. In the price of the mat, you're going to think, wow, that's quite an investment. Plus, on top of that, I built this platform, and one of the reasons I built this wooden platform that it all sits on, there's two reasons for that. One is because my hitting area is on a hill. There's a slope hill, or a slope here. So what I wanted to do is I obviously wanted to make a level hitting area. So I built a little wooden box using a bunch of 2x6s. It was real easy. I bought all those supplies at Home Depot. But the reason that you want to build some sort of a box to set your mat on is a couple of reasons. Before I did that, I would hit on a flatter spot of my lawn, and I didn't have this set up permanently. I actually had it on wheels so I could move it around. Well, I found, especially in the sandy soil here in Florida, that when I had the mat down on the grass, I would unroll it every day and I throw it down in the grass. As I would be doing my swing, you know, you tend to keep setting up in the same area on the mat, keep hitting the ball from the same area. Well, that would slowly start to wiggle down and cause depressions into my lawn and into the sandy soil below it. So I realized I needed to come up with something that's nice and firm, that's not going to give. Now I've actually put this on my patio, which is cement, and coming through with irons and hitting down on the ball, because I got this high quality net that's got a cushion on the bottom, and then it's very thick fake grass material on the top. It didn't hurt me at all. So you can actually put this on concrete. You can put it out by your pool, wherever you want to put it. So you want to build some sort of a structure here. So what did I put into this, all right? It cost me to build this little box, buying the lumber, and I had some spare lumber in my garage. That probably cost me maybe $50. When I originally bought this mat, it was probably around $200, and then it was about $300 for the cage set up here. You know, so around $500 or so. But I've had this thing for about 7 years or more. And I can come out here every day and I can hit as many balls as I want to. And I could be sitting there watching a TV show and during a commercial come out here, hit 20 golf balls, and then go back in and sit down, relax, next commercial, come out and hit 20 more balls. The convenience of not having to get into my car and drive somewhere, that just can't be calculated. The gas money. I couldn't imagine how much, especially with the gas prices these days, how much money I've saved in gas not having to drive to get gas. And then you look at the price of balls, or the price of a bucket of balls at a driving range. You know, you think about it. I normally, on a normal day, I'll hit at least 200 golf balls. That's going to cost me at least $20 every time I go to a driving range. Now, when you do that 6 days a week, week after week after week, month after month after month, and for me, year after year after year, you can see how that could add up to thousands of dollars. This was a one-time expense. My golf balls, you see I keep them here in a milk crate, and I'm going to take you over here to take a look at what I've done to modify my setup over here. I've taken one of those cheap nets, the balls go right through, and I put it in the bottom of my cage here, and when I hit golf balls, they feed down into another milk crate. When that milk crate gets full, I simply just pick it up and swap it out with the milk crate that's sitting on my mat. Okay, so I literally have an endless driving range. It's pretty awesome, and I highly recommend this for you other guys that are out there that are trying to hone your swing, trying to get better at practicing repetition after repetition after repetition. It's literally the best investment I've ever made for my golf game. When Phil Mickelson was playing, or was in his prime, he said he hit 400 to 500 balls a day. Now, that's somebody who was already on the pro circuit. He's already a professional golfer. And to him, it was that important to hit that many balls every single day. So if you think that you're going to be able to get better at golf without putting in the time and the practice, well, unless you're incredibly gifted and talented, I would have to say good luck with that. So I highly recommend go out, spend a little money, one-time expense for a lifetime of unlimited range balls, okay? Oh, and about the balls themselves, every time I go out on the golf course, I find golf balls. I don't care what shape they're in. I bring them home and I throw them in my little shag milk crate here, if you will. You can also go to Walmart and you can buy bags of shag balls. You know, you can get 48 for not a whole lot of money. And you don't lose them. You just keep using them over and over and over. So think about this. Go ahead and hit those links down in the description. Try this out. It'll really help you be able to work on your game. And I recommend for your next video, watch this one.